Grace to you, friends, and peace to you. It's a beautiful day in Northeast Ohio, a day that's easy to come into believing that God is a good creator and that life is what God has in store for us in all things. It doesn't always feel that way, but since it does today, at least for me, it's a good thing to share it in prayer. Praying with Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where will my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time on and forevermore. Psalm 121 is resplendent with grace. It doesn't really ask for anything. It simply announces who God is and what God does. That God is our helper. God keeps us. God guards us from evil. That our lives are safe with God. It's a psalm that is saturated with grace. This is the towering word in the letter to We'll pause there for a moment, but in chapter 2, verse 8 of Ephesians, we hear, "For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your undoing. It is the gift of God, not the result of works, so that no one may boast. For we are what he has made us, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand to be our way of life." God gives us grace to respond to God so our lives might become like God's life. The life of continual response to God's grace was at the heart of the monastic life that Thomas Merton lived in the Abbey of Gethsemane in Kentucky. In his book, Thoughts in Solitude, he wrote a bit about the bells that would call the monks to prayer. Bells are meant to remind us that God alone is good, that we belong to Him, that we are not living for this world. They break in upon our cares in order to remind us that all things pass away and that our preoccupations are not important. They speak to us of our freedom, which responsibilities and transient cares make us forget. They are the voice of our alliance with the God of heaven. They tell us that we are His true temple. They call us to peace with Him within ourselves. in just a moment at 10:30. Here again on Facebook Live, Christ Church will come in to worship together, and hopefully many more across the Northeast Ohio region and even across the country will join the church in worship. There's a lot in the world that we're not so at peace about, but we can find peace as we find God in ourselves. That's God's final and great goal, to dwell in his people. And God is at peace when God finds himself within us. This is such good news. So let's welcome it with Charles de Foucault's prayer of abandonment. Father, I abandon myself into your hands. Do with me what you will. Whatever you may do, I thank you. I'm ready for all. I accept all. Let only your will be done in me and in all your creatures. I wish nothing more than this, O Lord. Into your hands I commend my soul. I offer it to you with all the love of my heart, for I love you, Lord, and so need to give myself, to surrender myself into your hands without reserve and with boundless confidence, for you are my Father. Let's bless the Lord. Thanks be to God.